Mocha family. I really hesitated to do this video because I wondered if I've already said everything there is to say about my experience with umbrella schools. The question came to me from Intelligent Beauty to talk about the pros and cons of an umbrella school. But this morning, when I was reflecting and thinking about some things that I'm really enjoying this year, I thought an update would not be a bad idea because I think it's a little bit different from what I was experiencing before. So thanks for the question, Intelligent Beauty. I really appreciate you. So I decided to do umbrella schools in the first place because I was feeling overwhelmed. I was feeling like I wanted, in certain subjects, to have my kids sit in a class where someone was able to read all the books from cover to cover. A lot of homeschool curriculum come with a lot of summaries and brief things that they think will help the parents to be able to have meaningful conversation and to assess where their kids are with whatever they're reading, so that it makes it possible for us to do it without reading every single book. But I still think that there's a richness that comes from actually having read the book, and so I wanted my kids to have that. And I also wanted them to have classes with people that were really passionate about whatever they were teaching. I know for me, there are certain subjects I'm more passionate about than others. And so I thought that I would be able to get that from an umbrella school. But what I actually experienced, and with all of that, I thought it would lighten my load. I thought it would make my life easier. But what I actually experienced, I'll start with a con, is that it was actually more work because it was a different way of working and I had to adjust to it and I had to adapt to it. And in a lot of ways, because I had somebody, I'll say, looking over my shoulder and expecting things from me at certain timetables, it was that much more stressful than it was when I was the only person making my own rules, making my own timelines, making my own schedules, and able to shift things more to adjust to what was going on in my daily life. So bringing in a third entity made things more complicated, and so that's a con. And another thing I noticed too is that it made things less tailored for my kid. I feel like one of the biggest pros of homeschooling is the fact that we can tailor whatever we're doing in whatever subject to that one kid. And I'm giving my kid that one-on-one attention, that individualized attention. No matter how small the umbrella school is, chances are it's not going to be one-on-one. And so I feel like that's a con. I feel like that's a loss. But it all depends on how you look at these things, because all of these things that were a struggle for me have also been pros for me to with the umbrella school. Like, for example, the fact that my daughter is interacting with other kids and I'm able to see how her performance compares with other kids. That can be a pro in the sense that, when I'm only working with her and I'm only aware of what she's doing with me, sometimes I can become alarmed because, I may think, oh, she's not getting this. I don't know why she's getting so many questions wrong. Whereas if she's in a class and everybody's getting the questions wrong, it's more of a red flag that something might be wrong with the curriculum. Like, for me, I don't know if this is more of a pro because I'm teaching a class. I'm actually teaching the class. I'm teaching English 7. My daughter is in 7th grade. My other daughter, she's not at the umbrella school. She's at home. But since I'm doing it for the umbrella school anyway, I bought all the materials that I needed to do it with her at home. And this is the one student that I've been wondering about, I've been concerned about, I've been trying to beef up her performance here and there. But now that I have her working the same thing that my 9 students in my class are working, and I see how her performance is compared to her, she's at the top of the class. So one plus of being in the umbrella school for me was to realize, no, she's doing well. She's actually doing well. She's actually doing better than a lot of people. So if you're an overachiever and you expect a lot and you're not quite sure what to expect with respect to how old your kid is, like what's appropriate writing for a seventh grader, what's appropriate, you know, I feel like having them work alongside other students can kind of make those things clear. Wait. I love the fact that my child can get all of that, all the stuff all the pros that I'm going to be talking about at this umbrella school, one day out of the week, and then they're with me for the rest of the week. Because honestly speaking, and this part can be a con, an hour a day worth of lecture in every subject when they're at the umbrella school is not enough for them to get everything that they need to get for that subject. So technically for school, I'm still responsible for teaching. This is still homeschooling. Like, I didn't sign up for this because I wanted to stop homeschooling. I still want to work one-on-one with my kid as much as possible. So I get all these added benefits while still homeschooling. And so that's what I love about doing this umbrella school. So carry on, carry on, carry on. Another benefit I find is having somebody looking over my shoulder and breathing over my neck, because it forces me to stay on track. I feel like I get through more of the curriculum than I would get through on my own. The loss of that is maybe some rabbit trails that I do take when I'm working on my own are valuable, and I don't have as much time to follow all those rabbit trails. But at the same time, I know I'm getting the bare minimum done at least. And I think that's a weakness. Excuse me, that can be a weakness of homeschooling. If that's a weakness for you, staying on track, staying organized, saying that I don't feel like schooling today and the kids don't feel like schooling today, but we need to get a certain amount of work done anyway. That's real life. I feel like that's a benefit of homeschooling. And it's wonderful that we can make use of that, especially when big life things happen, like having a baby or there's sickness in the family, or you have an opportunity to help somebody in some way, and it interrupts your school and it interrupts your life, but you get the richness of that experience and the blessing of being a blessing to someone else. I think all of that is good, but at the same time, I like being held up to the standard that we have to get through school. It's important to get through school, and I shouldn't use every excuse that I can use and let myself off too easily, if I'm just deciding not to do it because I don't feel like doing it or we don't feel like doing it. So overall, I think it's been a huge benefit to me. And before I end the video, the most obvious pro for me, especially at the high school level, has been to have a guidance counselor, has been to be in an accredited umbrella school that's recognized as a private school. And so when I'm going through the college application process, I don't have to offer extra documentation to prove the caliber of the work that I've done as a homeschooler. And for me, that's been a pro. They kind of set the structure for me when it's time to apply for colleges, and I just have to follow it. It's been easy to find recommendations for college because I can't, when you're applying to college, you as the parent can't write all the recommendations for your kid. You have to kind of go out and find other people to recommend them, which is not hard and impossible to do if you've had a homeschool experience where you have been interacting with other people. But if you've had homeschool experience where you've really done everything at home by yourself on your own, then it becomes that much more difficult to find more than your pastor to write a recommendation for your child. And typically colleges are looking for academically credible recommendations. And so I thought that being in the umbrella school facilitated that. But the con is that you kind of also miss out on being able to tailor even your child's transcript to your child's strengths and to really fully demonstrate all that you've done that might not necessarily fit in the language of a private or public school that's specific to the umbrella school that you're working with. I think the best thing to do when you're considering whether or not you're going to use an umbrella school is to talk to as many people as possible, but more than anything is to have a good understanding of the school that you're looking at and exactly everything that they have to offer. But truth be told, you won't actually know what it means for you until you experience it for yourself. And so what it looked like on paper and how I'm living were slightly different, but I've always had the open mind that if I try it and I don't like it, I'm out. I'm out. I'm the one that's in control. I'm the one that's in charge. So, one last thing. A big con can be the cost, depending on which one you go with, whether in real life or virtual. It's more expensive than putting together your materials on your own and homeschooling from home, no doubt, because I know the school that I'm with, the teachers are paid. And so there's a tuition and everything like that. And so that the cost can be prohibitive for some people. But there are ways to work around the cost also. Maybe by teaching, you can offset some of the costs, which is what I've been doing in my case, which has been wonderful. But yeah, so if you guys have any questions about what I said or more questions that have cropped up from what I've been saying that I haven't talked about in the video, please leave your comments down below. Thanks for the question, Intelligent Beauty. Be blessed.